Welcome back. If you're new here, this is my 1976 Triumph Stag that I have been restoring. In the very previous video we got the front end on and we got the offside wing fitted, and doesn't it fit quite nicely. Previous to this we have also done both back wings, both sets of floor pans on each side, outriggers, and got the car pretty much structurally solid. There's just a few little tartan finishing bits off and we will soon be on to painting the car. But before we do that, in today's video we want to get this near side door reskinned, a new bottom on the offside door, put a new rear valance on there and check for any damage behind that, because this car may have been in a shunt at some point. And then we also need to have a look at the wing on the other side, because in the last video I did tell you that was quite a mess and that would take quite a bit of work to repair. And so here is a clip of me attempting to fix said wing. Obviously it's missing an arch, so it will need a hell of a lot more work than the near side wing. As you can probably tell from the wing that I'm holding, the repairs did not go to plan. Now, with the way it was removed from the donor car, it's been quite badly distorted all over the swage line. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to repair that or not, or bring it round, but after having welded it on, I'm definitely not going to be able to sort that out. So I've got a new to me wing over there, which I will show you in just a moment. Now, if I was an unscrupulous restorer, I could just put a new arch on top of this and then I could skim it with filler and it'd be an alright repair, but the swage lines would be completely wrong. Now, what separates a good restoration and a bad restoration, even though I'm no expert, for me it's always nice crisp swage lines along the car. They all need to line up, they all need to look right. You don't want them looking fat, chunky, or like they've got any amount of filler on them. You want them all to be nice, clean and crisp and all lining up, and there's quite a few on the Stag. Anyway, here is going to be my replacement wing, fresh from Birmingham for only £60. As we can see, the swage lines are alright on the panel. There is a little bit of rust repair at some points, and there's a little bit of a dint here that will need repairing, but they are plenty far enough away from the all important swage lines. So that wing is a lot more workable. I mean, I probably could save that wing, but the amount of hours it would take to fix it, I mean, I'd even have to put like a new indicator hole in there. I was going to have to use that off one of the original wings off the car. I just decided with the amount of hours that would take, I'm far better off using something like this, which I found for an absolute bargain price. If any of you don't know, second-hand wings for these Stags usually trade somewhere around the £250 to £300 mark, so £60 for this that just needs a bit of repair at the bottom is an absolute steal. Surplus to this on the shopping list was a new door bottom for the driver's side. The skin was okay on that, just need to unpick the skin and get this new bottom slipped into place. So that'll make that door solid. And then for this passenger side, like I said in the last video, I have a new skin again. I don't know if you can be able to see that or not. They're all brush painted, so get that fitted. No more warps in the door. Here is the door that needs reskinning. You might be able to tell here that I have cut round the door lock just here. Some previous owner has bodged some really rusty screws in there. The screw came out fairly easily. There's a really rusty hex nut there that is absolutely chewed to hell. I don't know why someone would put a chewed up nut back into something like that. If you weren't changing the door skin, you need to remove it, you'd have a right nightmare. Anyway, yeah, you can just slit out now. Probably need to get some gloves on. The door handle itself is very, very pitted. I don't know if I'll be able to clean that up. As I say, I don't mind original parts like that. I feel like it gives it character. But yeah, we'll have to see what we end up doing with that, because it isn't in the best nick at all, is it? The back of the repair panel that I did is actually quite a good job. So it's just the front where it went wrong. I'm not afraid to admit mistakes and when I've cocked things up. But yeah, let's get this cut apart and get my new one fitted. So yeah, my first attempt at fitting a door skin. I did have a quick look online for once, and the recommendation was just to grind down the edges till it falls off. And yeah, that's what I did. The original bits came off with ease, to be honest. Originally from factory, apparently these are brazed on. The hardest bit was the patch that I repaired at the bottom. But overall, not a bad job. It still needs a little bit of work, but I actually don't think that's a bad start at all. So this door wasn't too rusty. I just need to do a bit of trimming on the back edge around here, and that should just pop on. Doesn't actually seem like too bad of a job to reskin a door. It's something I've never done. With my MG, I ended up buying 2 second-hand doors. Obviously they seem a lot more expensive on Stags. Second-hand doors versus a new skin for it is only, I think it was £68, not a bad price at all. Obviously I'm going to have to re-drill the wing mirror holes, but yeah. Right, anyway, let's start getting that edge cleaned up.
So yeah, just a little bit more tidying up and the door skin should slide over neatly.
Obviously, I'm not able to shut the door properly because the tabs are still kicking out, but as a first fitment, that doesn't look too bad at all. Yeah, the main thing is now I just need to treat all the rust that's in all the gaps between the old panel skins, because obviously the skins haven't been apart in years and there's a little bit of surface rust there, so I'll treat that, and yeah, I'll come back tomorrow and I'll get this door all bent over and hopefully back on. And so the door shell over there has been rust converted and primed up, ready to take the new door skin down here. I have trial fit this a couple of times off camera, and yeah, it seems quite self-explanatory. Fits really well already. Probably one of the best fitting panels you can get for these cars. The only thing I have noticed is that there's no pre-drilled holes for the wing mirror, but that's easy enough to sort out ourselves, just a little bit of marking out. Yeah, the new door skin just needs to slot over. There's a load of tabs all over it that's going to need knocking back with a hammer and a block of wood. Let's get it hole punched up. I've also drilled them out to a slightly larger side to aid with the welding. What I want to do now is overlay the panel, get some grease in there and offer it up. If I'm happy with all the swage lines lining up correctly, then we can start plug welding the panel together.
So first of all, as I said, just that nice bead of grease going around the edges. Then the door frame can meet the door skin. Once on, again, it's just some simple tool, a hammer and a block of wood. I don't actually have any proper metalworking hammers. That could be one thing for the birthday list. I'm not really sure how much better they'll be, but yeah, it seems to be going quite well. Not really any major problems, just lots of fettling working backwards and forward, door on, door off. I've now got the line where I want it. The swage lines line up nicely, nice and sharp, just how we want them. I'm also pretty happy with the gap. It does pinch a little bit there where I have to manipulate it back, so there's a bit of a wart, but a little millimetre of filler and that should be fine, just at that point up at the top there. Basically, I've folded in the skin on this front edge here. This is right. The back edge looks pretty good as well. But before I carry on, I'm going to get a couple of plug welds in this side, because then this side can stay firm, solid, welded, and I can sort of slowly work my way along that edge towards the back of the car. Well, that is the plan. Anyway, whether it works or not, we shall see. And yeah, the gap is still nice, so I can get that edge fully welded up, and then we'll get bending around the bottom bit. And that there is the door skin all welded up. There's a couple of warps in it here, there and there, where I put a little bit too much heat into the panel. But overall that's more than acceptable, especially for a first attempt. It's very good. Door gaps at the front and to the rear, both really, really good. Everything else can be sorted out at the bodywork stage, but yeah, overall not too bad. Definite improvement on what was there originally. And let's get back to that rear valance and the possible crash damage.
There we are, all chopped off. I have had to open the garage door because we are seriously lacking access to the garage at the minute with that Porsche that just there. Yeah. So, I don't even know how far this panel goes. If you like, if I bend it back. Another panel off. Again, this is another panel that internally there is no wax hole whatsoever. The internal panel is very solid, but the external panel is completely rotten. But maybe 15 years ago, if this would have had a lot of wax hole injected into some of the cavities, maybe this panel could have been saved. No, that's going straight in the bin. here is the heritage panel that I paid just £80 for. This price to leave is £125, but this one had been sat in some kind of shed for a while, so I got a slightly better deal. Just need to tidy up these seam lines here along each edge, then we can look at getting that onto the car. And so with the edges tidied up, it fits quite well, especially on this side here. It's nice and tight to the bumper iron mounting point, but it's not the same story on this side here. I don't know if you remember in a previous episode, but when we changed the back quarter on this side over here, we found what appeared to be crash damage. There was some debate in the comments whether it left the factory like that. There was some of these cars, like with the old Minis, there was a hammer room where cars that didn't fit got made to fit. I was starting to think that this could be one of them, but I have found something that makes me think it's been in a crash. If we look here, even with the gap quite reasonable down the side, we seem to have the bumper iron sitting about an inch or so back from the panel, which will not work. As soon as you bolt that in, it's going to crush the paint, crack the paint, and you're going to invite rust straight back in there. It is actually very hard to see, but I don't know if you can tell by the shadowing, it is pushed in quite a bit here. So what I think I'm going to have to do is tie a rope around it and try and drag it back out, but there's quite a bit of rust at the bottom still there, so I think I'll have to repair that first. Do look, even pulling my hand to the whole panel, do have a little bit of flex in that, so it needs to be braced up properly. So it's going to be a bit of a pig. I might even have to brace up some of the back floor pan just to make sure nothing else pulls with it. But yeah, that's where we are up to with this. So with the state of the back of the car and it needing a load of work, pulling that dent out and whatnot at the bottom, the boot all needs welding up, I've had to have a clear out. So I spent yesterday going to the tip, binning absolutely tons of stuff. You might see that the back of the car is now quite clear. Every single time I've ordered something, I've just piled up the cardboard there. That and all old panels have just been piled up, so they've all just been run to the tip, along with loads of other stuff I don't need. And still, it's a bit of a mess back there. And yeah, I'm going to need that boot clear to be working on that back end and pulling it all out, because there's loads of welding to do inside. So what I think for now is, in the back of there, there's loads of panels and whatnot. So to get this empty, I think I'm going to start with repairing the boot panel. Then I need to repair some pieces inside here. Then I can get the boot braced up. Then I can get the crash damage pulled out. Yeah, big job. Right, let's crack on with that. This is the boot lid that I bought second hand for about £100. Obviously it needed a little bit of repair work for that, and to repair it I needed to purchase these panels here. The panel did come with some Mark 1 repair panels. Obviously these are Mark 2 repair panels because my car is a Mark 2. The only difference between the two is literally the number plate lights sit inside the panel rather than coming off the bumper, I believe. So yeah, it's a little bit crispy at the bottom here anyway. So I'm going to clean this edge up here, take it off and see what it's like underneath. And after many hours of repair, I think I am getting somewhere with this. I was getting near the point of wishing I would have just bought a fiberglass one rather than trying to keep it steel. But yeah, it has been repaired before quite badly. It's really hard to see there, but it's actually plate over plate over plate on top of where the lock mechanism goes, which is not what you want. There's like a backing plate there that's got like the captive nuts, and over the top of that you just want a repair panel, or one of the repair panels going on either side, not just patches and patches and patches on top of each other. So I've cut it out as neat as I can, being a hobbyist, and yeah, it should go on like that. Originally from the factory repair panels it did have this lip that goes down, but with the way the panel actually goes, I wasn't confident that I'd be able to joggle the panel round at the end there, so I'm cutting it to the lip there. We can overlay it over the top nicely. It's nearly ready to start welding, just hoping it all fits quite nicely. Right, and that there is the boot panel welded up. I did have some trouble, so I don't know if I've lost some of the footage. Basically my welder started snapping wire constantly, so I had to buy a new welding slot, like the old one here, and just go in the bin. Been the last so long, that one has definitely expired. With this front edge here, I ended up cutting the old rusty lip back, and then tucking the new panel underneath, and then welding to it. Sort of laying tacks over tacks. I think from a factory they would have been spot welded, so I would have really had to plug weld it. But I'd rather just get rid of the rusty lip. With how rusty it was, it would have been really thin, and then put a rust converter on it. I'd rather do it like this, cut away the rust. Slightly less of a neat looking job, but there's less chance of the rust coming back. So with these Stags, it's quite rare to have steel boot panels in good condition. They're actually quite hard to source and find. A lot of people are restoring them now. Apparently, according to some people I've spoken to, end up putting fiberglass boot lids on. Obviously mine was completely shot, worse than any boot lids I've seen anyway. But yeah, this was the best we could get. So yeah, that should be okay. Just got a piece of chrome trim. I don't think it's the right one for the panel. They're all quite similar. I think this one's on the front end. That fits on quite nicely. I just need to now do some repairs around the gully of the boot, get that strengthened up, and then we can start pulling out the panel behind the rear valance. So I want it all structurally welded up around there and solid before I start pulling anything, because I don't want to pull the rest of the car with it, pull something out. So I probably want to get this on, get the boot panel locked down so it's just secure, start looking at crash damage at the back. So here's what I need to get repaired at the back. So we've got that there and this over here. So the thing is with these here, if I am tying a rope and then trying to pull that back bumper mount out there, I feel like these are definite weak points at both corners there. Imagine I've done all the work to the car and then the back light panel just rips off the back of the car. That would not be ideal at all. I think I'd be very upset if that happened. So I have cut out some patches just down here, and then I've made some little bits of cardboard. Those can then be laid over the top of my metal plates, and then they can just weld into place. Obviously after, I can get the lip that curls round. Quite easy to do that. You can make slight use of the TMU dent puller that I did mention before, that it was slightly dented around here from the welding warps. So let's see if this can solve it. We need to do a little bit more playing. Well, like most things on this car, that will do for now. And so it may be best to call it a video there. I've had a hell of a lot going on recently. You might have seen in some clips in the garage the Porsche was there. It was really in the way, it's really been slowing me down. With progress on the Stag, it's not been ideal at all. But in good news, I have now sold the car. I got £6,000 for it, which is roughly what it owes me. At the end of the day, it's not a profit, but after partially sort of restoring the car, I found out it was Cat C. It sort of ruined things on that one. But the car is now gone, it's out of the way, yeah. So yeah, the car's now gone, happy days, lessons learned, always do your checks in future. Anyway, let's call it a video there. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider subscribing. I will be going live later on today, tomorrow, it's Wednesday the 2nd of April today, Thursday the 3rd of April. I will be trying to go live around 5 o'clock, where I will be spinning the Stag round. You can see how bad I actually am at working on cars.